Wow, it's been a long time since I've done a comic book video, and this one, when I saw Raiders of the Lost Ark, I'm like, oh wow, a movie special. So I'm really excited to look at this one and show you what mystery comics I find. So this is purchased at Ollie's, and um, often these packs just have just such a random sampling of comics in it. Some from the Silver Age. You never know what you're gonna get. I got some Scarlet Vision and Scarlet Witch comics in one of them, and now they're worth quite a little bit. So because of WandaVision. So if you see these, it's probably worth it. Just you never know what's in them. They were packed before a lot of the Marvel stuff came out, so you might actually come across a rare or valuable comic. So I'm gonna take these out, and we're gonna go through them. And I'm like I always do. I move them aside so we don't spoil the surprise. And this one I'm really excited about, and I might even look for other ones in this series to complete the set. If this is in fact for the movie, this says number 2, a Marvel movie special. On the back, it has that old prizes for cash scam that we grew up with. If you're my age, there was a Fat Albert episode warning us never to do this. Continuing the fantastic adventure for the maker of Jaws and Star Wars. This is before Indiana Jones was a household word. And on the opening, we see that we're into the movie. Chapter 2, the scene where Arnold Tolt is menacing Marion Ravenwood with his Sherpas and other Gestapo agents. Led by the man named Tolt, Nazi agents under orders from Adolf Hitler himself are prepared to stop at nothing to discover the Lost Ark and unlock its powerful secrets. He's threatening her with a red-hot poker. The time, 1936. And then the poker gets flipped out of his hands by Indy, just like in the movie. Step away from her slowly. Scatter and kill him. And then they start shooting. And we get to that famous shootout in Marion's bar in Nepal. The fight is all here. The headpiece of the Staff of Ra is hot, and it burns Tolt's hand and leaves a big blister that will turn into a clear image of the headpiece that they use. Look, old action figures. What is this? Collectible miniatures. This is even before they were called action figures. Chips, Marvel, Wonder Woman, Darth Vader, Dracula. Wow. That. Imperious Labor, Ovian, Cylon, Centurion, and Daggett. Let's see. Are these actually action? 3.5-inch articulated figures. Yeah, these are action figures. You could get She-Hulk, Red Sonja, Man from Atlantis. Wow, Howard the Duck, Logan's Run. These would be worth so much money now. This is an old ad for action figures. And I mean, they already were a thing. Because this is after Star Wars. This is the 80s. This is interesting. So the fight continues. Tolt runs out into the snow with his hand. Marion says, I'm coming with you to Cairo if you're going to be looking for this Ark of the Covenant. Now they're in Cairo. The famous fights on the streets of Cairo. And he thinks Marion gets killed in the truck. And he's depressed. He gets with Sala again. And he meets Sala's expert, who tells him that the headpiece that the Germans are using is wrong because it's only got one side. But they tried to poison him that night, and the monkey ate the poison. I remember this is something I always wanted, the little army sets that came. You could get soldiers or ships or airplanes or whatever, but they were little tiny one-sided things. They weren't what you think. So we cut all the way to the dig, Tanis, and Indy finds the map room, and he takes down the staff that's correctly cut with a headpiece. And he finds the true location of the Ark. Sala is nervous because the Germans are asking him questions, but Indy is finding the right spot in the map room. Then he finds Marion tied up in a tent. And he's like, look, I'm going to get you back. And he's like, I can't cut you loose. I got to leave you here or they're going to know and we're not going to get the Ark, which is kind of a funny scene in the movie. But then he's got his surveyor apparatus and they start to dig to find the Well of the Souls. Gobbler and Dietrich, the Germans, they didn't really get a lot of movie time. The book really fleshed them out more. So Indy finds the Well of the Souls, where the Ark is located. In the meantime, Belloc is trying to seduce Marion, mostly to just be mean to Indy. Indy and Sala, in the meantime, are finding the Ark of the Covenant. They pull it out. There's snakes everywhere. But it's too late. When they get out, all the Germans have found them. And then they're going to throw Marion in there. And they're both going to be stuck inside of the Well of the Souls, sealed up. And that's where this comic ends. 132 Roman soldiers. Yeah, wow. I'd like to look for the other ones in this series. So this is really cool. Next is kind of what we're used to with these packs is Harbinger by Valiant. Some of these lesser comics. There's an ad for Mortal Kombat, the movie, September 1993. So that ages tells you when this was made. You got some Super Nintendo ads. But still, nonetheless, it's still kind of an older comic for nowadays. It's printed on the regular rough paper, and the artwork is still kind of the old style. And Harbinger is a comic I've never really read, but I've definitely found lots of issues of it in these mystery packs. Get some baseball cards. Looks like Sylvester Stallone there. Eternal Warrior. And here's a whole bunch of superheroes. That's like not the Punisher and not Rodin and not Vision or Dr. Manhattan or whoever. Not Batman. Not Cyclops. Just kind of a whatever comic, but I'll probably, my friend who owns a comic store, the ones that I don't keep, I'll probably end up just giving to him to sell. Because there's someone out there who's looking for this. Someone wants this very issue to complete their story. And here it is. So, I'm guessing, at least, someone does. Okay, so that's Harbinger. Next is by Image Comics, Leave It to Chance. It looks like a goofy comic. It looks like a Deadpool, or that looks like Deadpool, sort of, kind of. There's Nick Fury and Wildcats, X-Men, They Meet Again, The Silver Age. This is probably older, printed in Canada. It's on rough paper, so it's like Halloween, I think, kind of cartoony. $1997. So yeah, this is fairly old. It's kind of cool though, because with these mystery packs you can find just really cool leftovers from back in the day. Some of these things have never even been cracked open. You open them and you can tell by hearing it. This is the first time these things have even been opened. Yeah, speaking of Indiana Jones, there's an Indiana Jones clone right there. Lynch, Terror in the Jungle. And we get some artwork on the back. And that's just another kind of meh comic. Leave it to chance. Here is Shinobi number 2 from Action Lab, The Lightning Oni. And it's an ad for Stray on the back. Another kind of indie comic. Hero Cats Midnight. Very airbrushy, printed on the slick paper, so this is much more modern than what we've been looking at so far. Thus far. Kind of basic looking to me. You can tell it's never been opened. The pages are still kind of stuck together. And that's that. I mean, another kind of, yeah, so one Indiana Jones, and then I get a lot of kind of dull ones. This is Zendra. Never heard of this. I don't even see a maker on it, on the covers. Penny Farthing Press. 2001 by Penny Farthing Press. I've never heard of this. Never been opened. Children of the Green and Golden. Artwork's kind of cool. And sometimes that's what I like about these videos, is I get to see some of the interesting artwork in some of these, you know, rarish comics. Yeah, I do like the artwork in this one. Yeah, definitely. Kind of a Thanos looking character here. And we end with a drawing, some concept art, pencil, ink, the San Diego Connection. It's an ad for a comic that looks like an ad for a movie, which is cool. It's a solid little comic here. What we have next is Altars by Aftershock. Freak. This is 2016, fairly recent. Artwork's okay, but it's not my style. It's not my favorite type of artwork. It's not bad. It's just not my style. I liked, I think, the Zinga one, with the exception of Indiana Jones, this is the one I think I like the most so far. This is just kind of whatever, too. I like this green. Rough Riders. That looks cool. Teddy Roosevelt. Oh, I've never heard of this. I mean, this is one I need to look for. Like a steampunk version of Rough Riders. That looks very interesting. Cool. Alright, that's something. Oh, here we go again. The free comic book day Superman that is in almost every one of these packs. And I have flipped through this thing probably 20 times, but just if you haven't already seen it, here's an ad for Man of Steel. We'll look at it again. It's free because it's a very small comic. And there we go. I've flipped through this one many, many times. I have so many of these. This is X Factor X-Men Deluxe. So we're actually getting a name brand here. And I see Mystique. He's on the tip of my tongue. I can't remember his name, but there's an action figure for him and everything. An ad for Species, so that tells you when this was. There's Storm, it looks like. 1995, but it's printed on this kind of cool matte finish paper. Good old classic 90s X-Men. And look, this is my favorite version of Mystique. How I like to see her. I didn't care for the movie version. I like Mystique from the comics. With her cool skull. I mean, she just looked like a bad guy. I mean, then again, that was when I first picked up X-Men, was in the 90s. So this is the versions of the characters I'm really used to. Not Look, this Wolverine, not Hugh Jackman. Of course, it's been a long time, but does anyone remember the Super Nintendo X-Men game? So much fun, and I remember when playing it, I used to think that games could never possibly get better than this. This was what I know. Special events in 1995. Just because we're past the halfway mark for 1995 doesn't mean that it's all downhill for the X-Books from here on in. As a matter of fact, if you thought the first 6 months of 1995 were jam-packed, full of excitement, then you're not going to believe what's in store for you during the next 6. July not only continues an already incredible run of mutant mayhem, it cranks everything up. Check out our 64-page 1995 super special starting with this month's Wolverine 95. Then in the months that follow, keep an eye out for X-Men 95, Generation X, Uncanny X-Men 95, and Cable and X-Force 95. But if these triple-size extravaganzas aren't enough to tide your voracious readers over, then we've got 3. Count them, 3 Marvel Select Format limited series coming your way before the end of this year. This year's temporary treats include Starjammers by Warren Ellis, Carlos Pacheco X Universe Flash and Wolverine and Gambit by Jeff Loeb, Cable X-Men X-Force, and Tim Sale Batman Legends of the Dark Knight Deathblow. Plus, later in the year, we've got the reunion of 1994's pair extraordinaire Scott Lobdell and Gene Ha with help from Jeff Loeb for Ascani's Son, the sequel to their popular adventures of Cyclops and Phoenix. It was back in the 90s when comics were still pretty fun and innocent and had that sort of gee-whiz thing that isn't there anymore in modern comics. But hopefully the kind of unfortunate state modern comics are in right now will go away, because it's definitely failing. The political sort of slant it's gotten, and the preachiness, which a lot of people don't like. Now here's a good steampunk. This is Lady Mechanica, the Clockwork Assassin. And this looks, just looking at the cover, it looks like really cool. If you're into steampunk, with the top hats and the old style pistols and everything, and the old font and everything. So let's see if the inside matches the outside. So it's definitely going with a cool theme, and so far the artwork looks really good with the things that steampunk people like brass, magnifying glasses, gears, Victorian looking stuff, fireplaces, top hats, easy chairs, all the things that steampunk people love. Brown tone. Top hats with goggles. You just can't be a steampunk person without a top hat and goggles. Libraries. Cats. More top hats with goggles. I love steampunk stuff though. It's so creative and there's so much potential for art. It lends itself nicely to creativity. I will say that about steampunk. And it's kind of innocent. I mean, it's not like Juggalos or something. I mean, it's innocent. Cameo pins. Poofy dresses. Puffy shirts. More top hats with goggles. More gears all over the place, which is really cool. They put a lot into this. Frankenstein machines. Whatever those things are. I've got one. The electromagnet balls that were big in the 80s. Floppy hair. Rivets. Very steampunky. Guns. I have to admit, the artwork alone in this is just really cool. And this is like Mechanica. I've never heard of this series, but it's interesting. I wouldn't mind like reading it, like if I had all of them. Finally, we've got a Superman, and on the back is a great ad for TSR Buck Rogers. TSR, of course, is the company that made Dungeons and Dragons. The fate of our solar system is in your hands as you play TSR's exciting new Buck Rogers Battle for the 25th Century board game. TSR did make board games, including one called Dungeon that was based on Dungeons and Dragons. And we get a cool Superman cover. This is from 1988. So this is after Superman died and after they unfortunately brought him... No. I take it back. This is before Superman died. He died in the 80s. This is before he got all stupid. So, gobble the power pellets or get gobbled by ghosts. Tinjin Pac-Man. And it looks pretty good to play at home. Superman Power Politics. A good old-timey comic printed on the old-timey rough paper with the old-timey artwork. Bodybuilder. Just like the real thing. NPC models. Oh, I frustrated myself so much. And after a while, I just built them without trying to paint them, because when I painted them, I would always screw it up. And when you messed up, you could never take it back. Like if you spilled silver paint when you were trying to paint the trim on your Corvette, your red Corvette, and if it seeped through the tape, that was it. If you tried to take it off with the paint remover, it would ruin the sheen of the plastic and your model was ruined. Plastic Man. Candylicious. I remember those. It was like Bubblicious candy. It didn't last very long. It was like Starburst. Soft, chewy candy. Someone will die because the Joker wants revenge, but you can prevent it. Batman. See, have you seen the trailer for the Batman with Rob Pattinson coming out? What do you think about that? I watched the trailer and I have to admit I was a little underwhelmed, and I hate to say that, but it's once again DC's showing that they just can't branch. They can't do anything different. Like Joker was their last hit, so they're gonna make it as much like Joker as they can. It's gonna be dark. It's gonna be grimy. It's gonna be moody, and I mean, I was hoping that they would try to do something different. For every good DC effort, there's like 10 good Marvel efforts, and it's kind of sad because I always root for DC. Legion of Superheroes. And I need to watch the Snyder Cut. I don't know when I'm going to get around to doing that, but I can't wait. Unknown Soldier. The Snyder Cut does look good, though. So, I'll be watching that. Alright. Well, this is it. This is my comic book video. This is my... of all of these comics, I really liked this one. Raiders. I'd like to make the whole movie set if I can. I'm gonna look for it and see how I can pull that off. And I hope you enjoyed this video. And please rate, comment, subscribe, click the bell icon. Until next time, bye.